Now, we start off this episode with very, very disturbing news because we saw the deputy president. We also saw Kipchumba Murkomen speak about the possibility of arresting the one and the only Rigathi Gachagua. Now, look at this guy. This guy is called Nelson Koech, who is saying Rigathi Gachagua and a few MPs are about to be charged for what happened last year on June 25th. Now, the invasion of parliament and the chaos after. The architects include former deputy president, and when he issues another statement, it is not taken lightly because this is someone who has the capability of causing chaos through his tongue. He has a very poisonous tongue. If he is not charged, then he believes he is above the law. Now, that has been said today morning. Today is on the 19th day of May 2025. But this was yesterday night. You're told that police besieged Gachagua's homes hours after Kindiki Murkomen threats. That was yesterday night. Homes linked to former Deputy President Gachagua were on Sunday evening surrounded by police officers drawn from multiple units, reportedly in pursuit of the former second in command. The operation was confirmed by Gachagua's ally and lawyer Ndegwa Njiro, who issued a public alert raising concern over the late night deployment of Gachagua's residence in Karen and Wamnyoro. Now, according to Njiro, the officers were conducting a manhunt for the Democracy and Citizens Party, Citizens Party leader, without offering any explanation for the operation. Now, this is the question I want us to ask ourselves. Is it possible to see a scenario where the deputy president, the former deputy, I think he's the deputy president since the one who is there is already illegitimate. Can we see a situation where the deputy president of this country, who is Rigathi Gachagua, being arrested because of his political affiliation? Because we all know this has nothing to do with what he spoke, because we've seen people speak worse. We've seen the likes of Sudi speak very disgusting issues. Is there a possibility to see such someone be arrested? And if you're in the dark, if you do not understand why exactly what the words that they are saying that are hateful or like hate speech or insightful that Rigathi Gachagua spoke, this is what he said. He was on Oga Obina show. I'm sure all of you have seen it because it is the most viral video that has been produced in this country and the longest, bro. It is 3 hours and a lot of minutes. I think 40 or 50 minutes. He was on Oga Obina TV, and that video right now has 1.1 million views. So, of course, it's a very famous clip. But this is what he said.
If that IBC tries to mess with the election, okay, there will be no country here. 207 will look like a Christmas party. I can tell you. And I want to implore those commissioners to be Kenyans, to be patriotic, and not to attempt to force William Ruto on the people of Kenya. It will not work. The people of Kenya will not accept it. People want change, and they are ready for change. Indeed, they are impatient.
Good. So those are the words that Rigathi Gachagua spoke about, and now they are the words that are leading such MPs to assume or to presume that he should be arrested. Guys, please just help me in the comment section. Is it possible to see a scenario where the deputy president, the legitimate deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, being arrested? Because, man, that would be chaotic. And to tell you exactly how chaotic it would be, I want us to look at what happened when the government tried to arrest the one and the only Governor Natembeya. So this is them. They say that EACC probe Natembeya over 1.4 billion embezzlement of the county funds. Now, this is some of the problems that happened when they tried to, arrest the guy. These are vehicles that belong to EACC, the anti-corruption, commission. Angalia gari zao vile zilifanywa kipindi. Look at them. Look at exactly what happened. And this is just a mere governor of people that have decided that we no longer align ourselves with the government because the government is punitive. And this is them.
This harassment of the opposition must stop. And whether you use the police or not, hata utumie jeshi, wewe ni one term.
Hakuna siku ambayo utatisha Waluya. Hakuna siku ambayo utatisha Natembea.
Tutaamua kama ni kukufa kupona, lazima tu protect governor. Na Alan Chesang utajua mahali penye utakuwa una land. Ukianza hii mchezo yenye unaanza na kudili na sisi, ukiguza Natembea umeguza Muluya. Ukiguza Natembea umeguza mtu wa Tanzania. Sasa maneno yako chuma chako chimotoni.
Sisi tulidanganywa na Wetangula tukakupigia kura kama jamii ya Waluya. Raundi hii ikiwepo unakuja na hii tabia ya kutuma hao watu waje wanyanyase Natembea, my friend, sahau kura ya jamii ya Waluya.
Hakuna mahali gavana anaenda. Tunasema hakuna mahali gavana wetu anaenda. Tumeamua, tumejua wameingia kuna pesa, wanataka kusema gavana alipiga pesa. Hakuna pesa gavana amepiga. Kama ni mbaya acha ikuwe mbaya.
Okay, now I have a very simple question, because over the period of maybe let's say ever since the year started, we've seen two governors, one who is sitting and one who's like retired, get arrested for what they say is corruption. We see Waitito right now is still in prison. Okay, I don't know whether ni remand ama ni prison. I don't exactly know what it is, but Waitito ako ndani. We also saw Kimani Wamatangi, who is the governor for, what do we call this place, Kiambu, also get arrested. Of course, there was some chaos, but not at this level. Not at this level. So I want to ask a question. Is it that Kikuyus or people from the central, people from the Mulima Kenya, don't really come out to fight for their leaders? Ama are they just busy? Ama are these people just idle? Ama new marufu? I want to understand what would drive people from their homes to come and fight for someone like this. Look at this clip. Why were they singing the national anthem? Is them being in solidarity with Governor Natembea or what up? Like the amount of solidarity that these people have with their leaders and how much they are willing to fight for them is crazy. And I keep asking, because we've just seen that there might be a scenario where the government would like to arrest Rigathi Gachagua. The simple question is, are the people from the mountain, willing to come out in these numbers and say that you're not going to arrest one of us or our leader because of what is selective enforcement of the law? Because we all know this is not like the enforcement of law. This is selective enforcement of law, because if there are people who are supposed to be behind the bars like yesterday, are people like Sudi. Nobody uses more insightful language than people like Robert Alai. We have the Kalumas of this world. We also have people like Sudi. All these people are people who are very, very intentional when they speak, the way they speak about other people. This is exactly what happened to their cars. But the question is very simple. Are people from this country, from the Mount Kenya region, willing to come out in these large numbers and fight for their leaders? Ama wow, they don't engage in such craziness. Tell me in the comments section.
The police are out there in Natembea's home to frustrate him. They want to arrest him, or rather plant in some exhibit so that they can try and frustrate him the best way possible. Because
Okay, let me ask a question because I wanted to ask this lakini kama nilisahau. The question is, what is the use of raiding someone's home? Are they somehow thinking that someone would steal money and put it in their home? Or like in the case of Governor Matangi, where they raided his home and came out with a lot of money. I don't know whether it was 4 million. Are they saying that you should not have money in cash? Or are they saying that any money that is in cash is stolen money? What exactly is this that they are trying to say? What is it that they're usually trying to say when they come and raid your home and take away the money? And is the money usually taken as exhibit and then returned later? Ama yo pesa tu inakaanga huko? I don't get, like, if I was a thief, would I really steal money and put it in the house? I feel like this raiding of homes is the biggest intimidation that the government has mastered, is to intimidate you. Because hata mimi, in my humble way, ukuje kwangu ujaribu ku raid, I'll feel very awkward about it. I wouldn't want anyone to come raid my home, and I don't have much. So I feel like raiding people's homes is the biggest way they use to intimidate you or to show you that they are powerful.
You know, these tactics that the KK government, Kasongo's government are trying to do to silence the dissent, ni vitu tumezoea. We are already used to the things that they do. You know, when you are against, or rather you are criticizing the government, the only way they know how to retaliate is by frustrations. Either they abduct you, like they have done to Peter Salasya, or they will send a bunch of police who sometimes behave like goons so that they can frustrate you.
Okay, I like the segue that you gave us, because you talked about Salasya, and I really also wanted us to talk about Salasya. Now, Salasya is someone that has become a darling of many Kenyans. I don't know what it is exactly that people like about Salasya, but I feel like it's because he looks like one of us. You know, like the easiest way to capture attention, to capture the people, is to look like one of them, to look like someone that they could relate with. Even the way he has his hair shaggy, I feel like that's easy. People are like, this is someone that I feel like we can reason with. But I want us to listen to this phone call that Salasya had with Go-To General Pale Mwanzo. I feel like that is the beginning of this year, when he started really fighting the people, the old guards, the Railas, the what is this guy, DVD, the Papa Aromas of this world. This is what I told him.
Has come back as a minister. I'm still there, mimi siwezi kwenda pahali popote. So where will he get a way back to his progress? So mimi nataka tu kuambia kidogo, jaribu tu diplomatic kwa hii wase. Mtu asikwambia, as much as you have the youth, ya kwamba you can have to pave your own way without the support ya wase kama Raila, kama sisi na watu wengine walikuwa wako mbele yako. Hata Oparanya unataka uwe karibu na yeye. Mimi nakwambia, because you have future and you will be there after us. Unasikia? And we must guide you well. We don't want to misguide you. Unanisikia? Haya, ukisema sasa mimi nasema bullshit shit, that will be up to you.
So, as Kenyans, let us talk to this man. Atwoli, is what Atwoli told Salasya bullshit or not? Let me tell you, we might not be there yet immediately. We might not be where people can elect you purely on merit. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there, and it's not going to take long. Very, very soon in Kenya, you're not going to be elected if you do not have merit. Haitakuwa rahisi vile watu wanafikiria. And people like this who do tribal negotiations, who negotiate on behalf of their tribes or on behalf of certain people, watakosa maana. So what Atwoli was saying somehow is not bullshit. If you really are into the government right now, or you're trying to get political seats right now, but in the very near future, you guys are going to be extinct. Nobody is going to be listening to you guys because we are going to get tired of you very, very quick. So I think it is safe to say what Salasya is going through is as a result of him not listening to Atwoli, for him trying to forge his own way.
We are being harassed. Today, I should not be mishandled the way they did because I've announced my presidential bid, and I want to ask President William Ruto that I can only be the best president if as I'm going to win the president of 2027. I'll be the best because I will not harass him. It's only me who will not harass him. The rest will, the rest will harass him. So he should treat me well because you see, Kenyans can know, Kenyans can feel. He can even also tell that Kenyans they have already lost the trust, the hope in him. The young people have lost hope in him. In fact, what I'm doing today, I'm doing the best thing to walk and speak to the young people.
He's funny. People like funny people. People like people they can relate with. This is him being arraigned in court. And you know that's a long time. This dude was arrested, I think, on Thursday or Friday. So he's been ukondani for a couple of days. This intimidation, if you're a weak person, is easily going to get to you. But I don't know if he's weak, I'm a strong. I feel like life has hardened him. Lakini bado hizo ni vitu zenye tutaproviwa hapa mbele, because he can easily turn and become William Ruto's bitch. He was charged with what we would say is hate speech. Na nashindwa hii hate speech aliongea wapi, because mimi I still insist kama kuna watu ambao wanafaa kushikwa ni to be arraigned in court for hate speech, ni watu kama Sudi, ni watu kama Kaluma, ni watu kama Robert Alai. Those are people who every single day incite Kenyans against watu wa Mlima Kenya.
Mheshimiwa, are we looking into the legalization and production of weed in Kenya after we become the president? And commercialization of weed hemp?
Sorry?
Are we looking into the legalization of marijuana after we become the president of the Republic of Kenya?
No, that is not a priority. My priority is to bring back industrialization in this country, the manufacturing. Where Moi left us, we must go back there. The engineering department, that we, instead of importing the machinery to do and making the cost of production in this country to be expensive, we must introduce those things.
Yeah.
And that is what we are looking at. We want to look at, we'll have a report of all factories that collapsed because during Moi we used to process everything. And that is where we are going to start from.
Thank you.
I feel like what people assume he's going to be about, he's totally 100% opposite of that. And you know, and I'm hoping that he's really about his business, asikwetu wako hapo mchezo, you know. So that is MP Salasya for you, and why he's having a tiff with the government. I came across this Twitter poll. It's actually a Twitter poll, and the question is very simple. If you could choose to live in one of these East African countries, which one would you? And here we have Rwanda, we have Kenya, we have Tanzania, and we have Uganda. And of course, me being the Kenyan that I am, I voted Kenya. You see? Now, and if we look at this, Kenya is actually leading with 53.7%, followed closely by Rwanda. And then you'd ask yourself, with how much Kenyans complain about Kenya, why do they still choose to live in this country? You know? So I feel like the next story is going to really, really give us context on why Kenyans would rather just stay in Kenya than in a place like Tanzania, Rwanda, or Uganda. And I feel like at the top of that list is something called dictatorship, because we all know in this country there's dictatorship. In this country there's dictatorship. In this country there's dictatorship. In this country he'd want to be a dictator, but we can't allow him. So let's focus a little bit on this one. So, Kenyans protest at Tanzanian embassy in Nairobi with demands to President Suluhu. Now, this has been happening for a couple of days. Even yesterday, Mother Karua was actually in Tanzania, and she was deported alongside other Kenyan, sijui kama ni lawyers ama ni human rights activists jui, sindio? But then there's this picture too. Willy Mutunga and activists Hanifa Adan and Hussein Khalid deported from Tanzania after detention at Julius Nyerere International Airport. So you might be wondering, what's happening? Okay, there's also this guy. Let's hear what's happening.
I'm in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, and there are officers outside my room who I don't know the reason why they're in my room. I was sleeping, they woke me up. They said they want to see me, but they're not saying the reason why they want to see me. And I'm scared for my life because there's a lot of abduction in this country, a lot of execution in this country, and people in jail for resisting Suluhu's dictatorship. That's why I can't open the door. Nasikia polisi wananitafuta. Inspection kwa usiku wa manane. So funzi kazi, mimi naogopa tu. Huku Kenya watu wanapotezwa nchi hii. Watu wanashikwa wanapotezwa, mimi naogopa kupotezwa. Either you break the door because I'm not leaving. Itabidi mvunje mlango. Basi mimi sitoki. Sijafanya makosa yoyote, natoka niende wapi? Chumba nimelipia. Chumba si nimelipia, nimefanya makosa. Kama sijafanya makosa unanitia nje nini? Assurance, kama sina makosa nataka kulala, acha nilale. Tatizo gani? Umesema sina makosa. So have I committed an offense? Let's start there.
Activist Boniface Mwangi, who was being told to open the door and stuff. Now, if you might be wondering, why are all these people in Tanzania? Why are Kenyan activists, why are Kenyan lawyers making their way to Tanzania? It's because of this guy. Not the crying guy, the other guy. This guy. This guy is the reason most Kenyans have gone to Tanzania. Now, I don't know what is it with Kenyans wanting to play heroes. I don't know why they're out there trying to save other people's democracy when theirs is sinking, but that is the main reason they're there. Now, let's find out, why is everybody heading to Tanzania?
Tundu Lissu, the chairperson of Tanzania's main opposition party, Chadema, is currently facing treason charges, a development that has intensified political tensions ahead of the country's October 2025 general elections. Background. On April 9, 2025, Lissu was arrested in Mbinga following a rally where he called for electoral reforms. Authorities charged him with treason, alleging that his speech incited public rebellion and aimed to disrupt the upcoming elections. These charges are particularly severe, as treason in Tanzania can carry the death penalty. Lissu, a prominent critic of the ruling Chama cha Mapinduzi (CCM) party, previously survived an assassination attempt in 2017 and had been in exile before returning to Tanzania in 2023. In January 2025, he was elected as Chadema's chairman, succeeding Freeman Mbowe. Court appearance and public response. On May 19, 2025, Lissu made his first court appearance since his arrest. Demonstrating defiance, he raised his fist to supporters and urged them not to fear. The courtroom was heavily secured, reflecting the high-profile nature of the case. The trial has drawn international attention, especially after several Kenyan activists, including former Justice Minister Martha Karua and former Chief Justice Willy Mutunga were denied entry into Tanzania when they attempted to attend the proceedings. Their deportation has been criticized as politically motivated. Implications for Chadema and Tanzanian politics. Following Lissu's arrest, Chadema was disqualified from participating in the 2025 general elections after allegedly failing to sign a mandatory code of conduct. The party contends that the electoral process is biased in favor of the ruling CCM and has called for significant reforms. Human rights organizations and international observers have expressed concern over the Tanzanian government's actions, viewing them as indicative of a broader crackdown on political dissent. The European Parliament, for instance, adopted a resolution highlighting the risks faced by Lissu and calling for respect for democratic principles in Tanzania. As the October elections approach, the situation surrounding Lissu and Chadema will likely remain a focal point for discussions on democracy and governance in Tanzania.
Wow, wow, wow. Again, we go back to this poll. Where would you rather be? Is it in Tanzania? Is it in Rwanda? Is it in Kenya? Or is it in Uganda? Now you understand why most people would still prefer to live in Kenya, because in Kenya, we have a very strong constitution. What Tanzania is lacking is a strong constitution. How can someone, just for calling for electoral reforms, be accused of treason? And you hear like treason it carries a death sentence. So this bro might be facing death sentence all because he called for electoral reforms. Guys, tell me in the comment section. Are you also agreeing with me that in Kenya we are still in a better place simply because of our constitution? And that is why we must forever fight for this constitution, because whenever it is undermined, bro, you never know what's going to happen next. We'll be having such cases all the time. Guys, thank you so much for being here. This has been the report. This has been the Big Man's report. Make sure you subscribe and make sure that you come back tomorrow. Ciao.